Hi, this is Shawnee Jackson coming to you live from Shamonj TV 1. All right, so today we are going to get started on my commentary for Genesis chapter 3. All right, so we already read Genesis chapter 3. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief summary of it and I'm going to just cover it. Okay, basically Genesis chapter 3 is all about the fall of mankind in the Garden of Eden. All right, it starts off with the serpent tricking Eve, giving her fruit. It's the conversation between her and the serpent, and then he gives her fruit and she eats the fruit and she gives it to her husband. And then as a result of them both eating the fruit, their eyes became open and they were able to know good and evil, to see good and evil, to have the knowledge of good and evil. So then God is walking around in the garden and they heard God, and so they decided to hide themselves. They hid themselves because of them being naked, okay? So, of course, when God called Adam, he say, Adam, where are you? Where you at? Adam like, I hid myself because I was naked. And God is like, who told you? Who told you that you were naked? Who told you that? That's how that's how God responded to the man. Like, who told you that you was naked, right? That's how he responded. So, so then Adam said, well, this woman you gave me is the one who gave me the fruit and I did eat it. And then God spoke to the woman and was like, okay, what is this that you've done? Like, why'd you do this? And she's like, well, the serpent tricked me. And that's pretty much what happened. The serpent did trick her and caused her to eat. So here's a few things that, of course, as a result of all that, there was a curse that was put out there in the land. Cursed the ground. The ground was cursed. There was painful childbirth. And the curse was also the man would have to work very hard. And a woman's desire would be for her husband. That was a curse. And she would have painful childbirth, which is part of the reason now I refuse to have any children. It's because of this right here. Okay, so just in case you guys wanted to know. But that is, in a nutshell, that is Genesis. And then Adam, of course, named the woman Eve because she was the mother of all mankind, and the Lord knew that man was now able to differentiate between good and evil. And so he decided to banish them from Eden. He placed a flaming sword at the entrance in order to prevent man from re-entering the garden. So, okay, that is pretty much what happened in the whole chapter. And I have some things, some thoughts on this chapter. First of all, here's my very first thought when I was reading this. Why on earth would Eve be talking to a talking serpent? Like, why would she be talking to a talking serpent? And then another thought came to my mind is, where was Adam? And why exactly was he allowing her to talk to a talking serpent? Okay? That is the first thing that came to my mind. Here are some other thoughts. In Genesis chapter 3, I personally believe that the devil made the serpent possessed. Here's what I mean. He possessed the serpent with his spirit. Like, here's why I believe that. Because if you think about it, he was in heaven as Lucifer, and he got kicked out of heaven because he wanted the angels in heaven to worship him. And God is like, who are you? And kicked him out of the heaven realm. And when he kicked him out of heaven realm, because he is a spirit, and this is my own thoughts. These are just my thoughts about the scriptures and about based on things that I've read. Okay, I'm not saying this is 100% true, but this is was in my spiritual imagination. I imagine that God kicked him out of there onto earth, and he had to find a living thing, right? He had to find some living body to occupy. He had to have that living body that he can put his spirit in. Cause like today, in today's time, the devil can't do anything without a physical body. And so that's why he possesses people to do evil. And like God, he can do all things because he's God. But there are some things he need to do through man. So God can work through mankind just like Satan can work through mankind. But of course, God is way more powerful than Satan will ever be. All right, so the serpent, he was very slick, cunning, and clever, okay? He was doing what the devil is... Hold on, what the heck? Sorry about that, guys. That threw me off because that was my printer making noises. And I'm trying to figure out what the heck. I didn't print nothing. The devil is a lie. I did not print anything. Why is my printer making noises? Okay, back on track, Shani. Back to the Genesis chapter 3 commentary. Okay, I got to bring myself back on track, okay, guys? So I imagine in my spiritual imagination, the devil is he's doing what the devil does, which is evil, walking around as if he is a roaring lion. Not a real lion. He's not a real lion. He's like the cowardly lion on the Wizard of Oz. He's not a real lion. He only thinks he's a lion, but he's not really a lion. But he's walking around seeking who he can devour. That's what he does. And so I imagine him, walking up on the woman because he sees this new creature, that God created and stuff. He sees this woman, right? He sees this creature that God created. And I imagine him wanting to get back at God because God kicked him out of heaven. You know, kicked him and some of the angels out of heaven. So I imagine him, approaching the woman. And he asked a question. He asked the woman a question. Notice in the passage of scripture, he didn't ask Adam. It never said that he talked to Adam. The question is, why would he talk to Eve and not talk to Adam? You know, and so he said, did God really say you can't eat from the fruit of the tree in the garden? Right? That's what he was pretty much saying. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was saying. So, the woman responded. Okay, let me tell you how she responded. She said, God has said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Let's go back to see if God said that. Let's go see what God said. Okay, let's see. I'm looking. What did God say? Hold on a second. All right. Okay. Let's see what God really said. Genesis chapter 2. We're going to see what God said. Okay. We're looking because we're going to see what God said to see if he said what she said. Because God didn't talk to her, by the way. God spoke to Adam, by the way. Okay? That's who God spoke to. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Okay, so this is chapter 2. Let's see. I am looking through it to find it. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start at 15. This is Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. It says that the Lord God took the man, put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. God never said anything about touching it. He never ever said anything about touching it. So where did that come from? With Eve saying, when she said, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. God didn't say anything about touching it. He just said, don't eat it. And if you do eat it, you'll surely die. That's what he said. He said you'll surely die. He didn't say don't touch it. You'll die. He said you'll surely die. Okay. What does that word surely means? Let's see. Okay. And so, in a state of physical absence of life, formerly killed, caused trouble for others as an extension of violence and mayhem of killing another, be dead, formerly be released to the dead ones. These are some Greek words. I guess this is a one for. Why does it. Hold on, let me go back. Okay, go back to where I was at. Hold on, let's see. There we go. We're back. Okay. I wanted to see if that word surely, what does it mean? But it's not giving me the definition of surely. It's just giving me the definition of die. Surely, it says surely die, but I want to know what surely means. So I can give you guys that. Because we did say we were going to study, even in my commentaries. Let's see. Surely, definition. It says surely is used to emphasize the speaker's firm belief that what they are saying is true, and often they're surprised that there is any doubt of this. And another definition for surely, it says with assurance or confidence. So God is real confident that if you eat that fruit, you will surely die. And so the serpent was trying to tell her you won't surely die, which he's trying to say, I'm confident that you're not going to die. And he tried to tell him, for God know that in the day you eat, what he was trying to tell him is, God didn't tell you this part. God didn't tell you that the day you eat this fruit, your eyes is going to be as open and you're going to be like God. You're going to be as gods. You're going to know good and evil. But I noticed that he never ever, like he tried to give them what he think they will want. But he never tells them the consequences of their actions. He never does tell them the consequences. He never tells the woman the consequences of her actions. He never told her that she'll have painful childbirth. He never told her these things. Never did. And so she thought it would be a good thing, because all he fed her was, okay, you're going to be like God. Your eyes will be open. You'll be smarter. You'll be more intelligent. You'll know good and evil. But she didn't know that her actions of eating the fruit would affect humanity. So what does she do? She eats it and she gives it to her husband. Now her husband, he knows what God said. So I feel like there's no chance he could have been deceived, because he knows what God told him. He knew what God told him to do. Matter of fact, God spoke directly to him. God didn't speak directly to Eve. God spoke directly to Adam. So it was technically Adam's responsibility to tell Eve not to eat it, and to make sure that he didn't eat it and that she didn't eat it. God didn't speak directly to her. God spoke directly to him. And him being a leader, it was his responsibility to tell Eve, hey, don't eat that. Put that down. Stop talking to that serpent. But he didn't do that, did he? He didn't do that. He did not do that at all. So, because he didn't do that, Okay? God found out, which God already knew that they were going to do it anyway. God already knew that they were going to eat the fruit. God already knew what they were going to do. God is all knowing. He's all powerful. He's not surprised. God is not surprised by the things we do. Nothing we can do will ever surprise God because God is all knowing. God is omnipresent. He's everywhere. And God is all knowing. He's omnipotent. He's omnipresent. He's and omniscient. He knows everything. So he knows everything. But he does give us a chance to explain ourselves, which is what he was trying to do with them. Okay? And what they should have said, Eve should have said, God, please forgive me. Please forgive me. I did not know what my husband was telling me was the truth. I just didn't know. I ate the fruit, and I'm sorry that I ate the fruit. Can you please forgive me? That's what should have happened. She should have been repenting on her knees, talking to God, saying, please forgive me. Please spare my life. Please don't hurt me. Please, God, I'm sorry. And he should have said, God, it was my job to keep and dress this thing. And I failed as a man. I failed as a man. I messed up. I ate the fruit. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. It was my fault. I shouldn't have, as a man, I shouldn't have let my wife talk to the serpent because I'm a man. And pretty much, I'm the one you gave the command to. You didn't give the command to my wife. You gave it to me. So it's my fault. I was supposed to make sure she's well informed. And I was supposed to make sure that I stop her from eating the fruit by telling her not to listen to that serpent, right? He could have responded that way. And I think God would have had mercy on him. I really do. I don't believe that God would have cursed him. Because God would have been so touched by him repenting that I don't think God would have, cursed him. Cursed the ground anyway. So, instead of hiding from God, he should have just been straight up with God. Instead of trying to hide it, he sins. And this is the first sin in the Bible. Okay? God told him not to eat the fruit. He ate it. God never spoke to her and told her not to eat it. God told the man not to eat it. All right? So yes, God told the man not to eat it. But the man, he ate it anyway. So he was disobedient. She was deceived because she wasn't told specifically by God. She was told by Adam, but she wasn't told by God. That's why I say she was deceived, because she had a serpent and she had Adam tell her two different things. So she was deceived. Adam himself, he wasn't deceived. He was just disobedient. All right? So as a result of that, God cursed the land, which means they would have to work hard, toil hard. Not only that, God cursed the serpent. And now it's on its belly, and dust they gonna eat all the days of their life, right? And God also said, I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. And pretty much, you are going to be at war with mankind and the woman's seed. The woman's seed is the child that's in her belly. And some people have said that that's reference to Christ being at war with the enemy, the devil being at war with Christ. Because, Christ was born of a woman, which is Mary. So some people say that that's like prophecy, of what's to come. I've heard that taught also. And the woman, she have sorrow and conception, right? She has sorrow. That was her punishment. Her sorrow was going to be multiplied. And in sorrow, she was going to bring forth children. Meaning it was going to be very painful to bring forth children. And from what I hear from other women, they go through that even today. And it says that thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So now, as a result of this curse, now your husband gets control and gets to rule over you. Okay? And it's because he hearkened to the voice of his wife and ate of the fruit. That's the reason why. Of which God commanded him not to eat. And he said, cursed is the ground for your sake, and in sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. So, and what that's saying is, you're going to toil and you're going to work hard to make sure that you eat. All right? So that's where all this stuff comes from. And it's not going to be easy, but you're going to work really hard. Because it says, in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto dust, for out of it was thou taken. For dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return. Right? So that's what happened. What is the lesson from this? Always obey God when God tells you to do something. Always be obedient when God tells you. When God tells you to do something, do it. When God don't tell you to do anything, when God tells you not to do something, don't do it. Because you save yourself a lot of trouble when you just do what God told you to do. All right? So that's it for this commentary that I have for Genesis chapter 3. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys are interested in joining the group, you can. But if you haven't subscribed already, if this is your first time listening to one of my videos, I want you to subscribe to our channel, which is Shamonj TV1. Okay. And I also want you, if you're interested, to go to Facebook. Okay. Go to Facebook, right? And I want you to go to Purposeful Bible Study. And from there, you'll be able to type to add yourself to the group. And you'll be able to download the King James Version of the Bible and read right along with us. And there's all kinds of videos, and all the commentaries will be posted in this group. From and if you haven't listened to commentary, Genesis chapter 2 commentary or Genesis chapter 1 commentary, you can read it. There are places where you can answer questions. There's places where you can ask questions. You can leave your prayer requests. You can leave your praise reports and testimonies. You can post inspiration. And also, if you have any questions pertaining to anything you've heard in this video, or if you have any questions, biblical questions, you can leave them in the group on this tab, okay? And someone in the group will answer your question, whether that person will be me or whether it'll be someone else. And if I don't know the answer to it, then I'll reach out. I'll study to find the answer until I find it. But thank you all for listening. God bless you. Bye-bye now.